This is a Miami Sports Music Podcast Network production. This is the #1 Miami fan morning show. Clock Blockers, let's go.
I know the whole city riding. A little early, it's a bit surprising. Business moves, now we enterprising. Switch it up, now we improvising. Go to get in the winter column.
What up, baby?
For life, we throw the folk. Singing this
It's Friday. Good morning to my Finlaws, my family. What is going on? Super excited to be hanging out with y'all. Clock Blockers, the #1 Miami fan morning show. I am your host, Stephen D. You can follow me on all social media at Stephen D. SKPL. Spread kindness, positivity, and love. Make sure you follow me on everything, TikTok, Twitter, or X, whatever you want to call it. Facebook, whatever it is. Make sure you guys do it. Super excited to be hanging out with y'all today. Good morning. Good morning. We got a great show lined up for you today. Let me get through the rundown so we can get to it. Follow Miami Sports Music everywhere at Miami Sports Music, except on Twitter or X, formerly Twitter, at MIA Sports Music. On your way in today, do me a favor, hit the like button. It's free. It doesn't cost anything to hit the like button. It helps. It allows the algorithms on Facebook to know that where people are watching and people are liking what they're watching. So hit the like button. You watching me right now. I'm talking to you. Okay. Hit the like button. Okay. I know you might be on your throne handling your morning business, but just hit the like button. You might be drinking your coffee, whatever it is. Okay. I don't need to know the details. Just hit the like button. Okay. Okay. Hey, look here, my guy. If you don't hit the like button, I'm going to have to go to the back and go get a bat and have to do what I need to do to you, okay? I'm going to put you in the trunk. You don't want that. You don't want that life. Hit the like button, my guy, okay? Hit the like button. Did somebody just hit the unlike button? That sounds like something level 2 noob would do. Hit the unlike button. How dare you, level 2 noob? How dare you? It was probably noob. It was probably noob. I'm assuming it was noob because noob would only do something like that. Anyways, hit the like button. If you guys want to subscribe to the channel, hit the subscribe button. And when you do hit the subscribe button, make sure you turn on the bell notification. All right. That way you get notified anytime Miami Sports Music goes live or Solo D drops a new track or whatever it is. Make sure you all do that. Also, hey, sign up to become a member today. There are plenty of seats waiting at the table for you. Make sure you guys do it. Sign up today to become a member. Okay. Make sure you all do that. If you guys do that, it supports the channel. There's 3 different tiers, and it allows us to be able to know on a monthly basis who is supporting the channel in that way. So it helps. So please sign up to become a member today. I'd love to get 2 new members to the channel. I'm going to shout out the members here in a minute that are in the chat this morning. If you want to help the channel grow by donating, there's a few different ways you can do it. You can use the YouTube live super chat, which is the $ below the bottom of the chat. Or you can also use Cash App or PayPal, which is $MSM Podcast Network or MSM Podcast Network. Use the QR codes that's on your screen. Want to give a big shout out to our sponsors of the show, ZSM Sports. They are the #1 place to get your cards, jerseys, balls, and hard-to-find items. Less is more events, Lime tickets. We love them. They're absolutely amazing. Make sure you check them out today at Less is More Events or on social media at Lime, all capital letters, tickets with a capital T, all one word, Lime Tickets. All right. Make sure you check them out. And last but certainly not least, Tailgreeter. Download the app today on your current Apple or Android devices. Make sure you guys do that. They're absolutely amazing. If you guys want to go to any games this year, if you guys are going this weekend and you want to go to East 32, make sure you download the app or go to tailgreeter.com, type in East 32 Dolfans Tailgate. That way you can get hooked up with the best tailgate around the Hard Rock Stadium. All right. So make sure you all do that. Let me say hello to the people in the chat real quick before I bring in my co-host for the day. I got my man Chef Shu is in the building. Good morning, OG Stephen D and everyone. How y'all doing this morning? Check your pulse. I like it. I like it. He says, subscribe, like, share, donate, become a member today. Your seat is waiting for you to join the family. That's right. Make sure y'all do that. Finn's in the house. What's up, Finn's in the house? Canes 1989. Dolphin State of Mind. Good morning, Dolphin State of Mind. Chef Zhu again. Wayne D. All right. I'm just shouting out well, you know what? I'm going to shout out everybody here that's in here already. Rashad, good morning. Faraday, good morning. Miami Kid, what is up? Will you be at the Giants game November 8th? TBD, to be determined. Not sure yet. I know I will be there the following week at that'll be a crazy 2 weeks. The following week is fan club weekend. The Panthers game, and then the following weekend after that is my tailgate in Philadelphia for the Philly Finvasion. We had a phone call yesterday. We got some good stuff lined up for that. It's going to be a lot of fun, so make sure y'all check that out. All right, man, let's dive into it. It is Friday. It's one of my favorite shows of the week, and that means I have a co-host who's one of my best friends in the world. Love the guy. Couldn't do anything I do without him. He held the fort down last Friday and ran the show solo dolo. So big shout out to this guy. And he is working. He's got to be a weatherman today. All right. And I don't know if you know the requirements of being a weatherman. You just need to have pulse. Okay. Because the weathermen are always wrong on TV. So maybe he's a better man than the weatherman that are on TV. Without further ado, let me bring in my co-host of the day from Dolfans Weekly, Mr. Jason Sarney. What up?
One of my favorite words in the English language is not a good word. It's like a bad word, but I love to say it. It's a fun word to say. I'm in a conundrum right now.
You're in a conundrum. I like that. Word association of this day on Friday. Conundrum.
And I apologize to everyone.
What is it? What do they say in the spelling bee? Conundrum. May I have the definition, please? What is the origin? Yes.
Yeah.
May you use it in a sentence?
Yeah.
Use it in a
Jason
sentence.
Sarney is in a goddamn conundrum today.
Swear jar, but yes, you are. I like it.
To the point.
For those of you who don't, do you want me to explain it to everybody? Because so Jason is supposed to be going to the game this weekend. He lives in PA, and there's this thing called a hurricane.
Money. Gas money. That's gas money. Gas money.
Shout out to Samaj. He's saying Samaj donating $10 to the channel. Saying, good morning, my guy. Congratulations on the new house. Go Dolphins. Fins up. Thank you, Samaj. I appreciate it, brother. I love you, man. You're that guy. But yeah, so he has a flight out first thing tomorrow morning. But there's this hurricane that is tearing up the approaching on its descent, and he thinks it's going to mess up the schedule of the flights. So
it's messing up my world.
Jason is having a difficult time finding a affordable, because I looked at the flight prices today. They were insane. Like, I'm not spending that kind of money to go down there.
Do it.
So finding an affordable flight to go down, which I don't think exists in the for this afternoon or this evening.
And they're all out. They're all out, by the way.
And they're all out. That's the other problem. Like Southwest gone, no flights, no flights. Gone. So there's no real, even the affordable places aren't. So now Jason is in this conundrum because he's like, do I drive down to Miami tonight?
Let me set the stage on that. I am a road warrior. I've done the drive to Florida with my family twice as a driver. I've done the drive down to Florida from New York as a kid with my family as passenger. It's a lot easier that way. Trust me.
Yeah.
I've never done it solo. Now, there is obviously a chance on the way back I could be picking up someone to come on home with my brother-in-law who lives down there. He doesn't know this yet, so if he's watching the show, I'll give you a call in about an hour. But if you want to drive home with me, that could help with the family, because there is a little internal discussion right now. Obviously, you tell a bunch of family members, hey, I want to take a 17-hour drive down through a tropical storm. See you Monday. But there's conversation going on. So I don't know what to do.
I guess it was 4 or 5 years ago, the year the Dolphins tanked for Tua, quote unquote, where we gutted the team and we lost 52-10 in week 1 at home against the Ravens. my buddy from Baltimore, because I was living in Baltimore at the time, we got in a car and he's like, I want to drive down. And I was like, okay. Now there happened to be a Category 2 hurricane coming up the East Coast as we were driving. So by the time we got to like North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia, we were like in a Category 2 hurricane, and he drove straight through it. And so it took, I want to say it took like 18 hours, 16 to 18 hours to get down. And we drove through a Category 2 hurricane to get to the game, to only watch my Dolphins get killed 52-10, and him have a pleasant drive home, and me had a I guess we got to drive back together for another 16 to 18 hours after a 52-10 butt whooping. Yeah, it wasn't
the worry. You see, that's the worry. I mean, look, if we were going in a situation where it was a game that I do not truly in my whole heart of hearts believe we're going to knock the snot out of the Broncos, because I truly believe that would be a factor. If it was an opening game at Hard Rock, this is a factor. I haven't been to Hard Rock since Christmas time last year, and that was a lump of coal. I don't want a lump of coal. A lump of coal would be not being able to go down to my Field of Dreams this weekend. So do I do something as extreme as drive the 17 and a half hours? I think, to me, it's a no-brainer. And I'm building enough momentum in my head right now where I might even tell you, Stephen, at 11 o'clock, I'm saying peace out, and I'll call you back from the car. I'm coming up with a plan. And I want your opinion, and I need the chat room's opinion.
Okay.
I might drive to Charlotte right now, because that is a little bit more inner.
Is there coastal flights from Charlotte?
What
about BWI?
No. Forget flying. I might drive to Charlotte as a destination point for Friday, where there's no rain right now or throughout the day. Now, coastal Carolina, problem right now. Now, waking up in the morning, 2-3 in the morning in Charlotte, the rain is, I believe, will be there too. But if I could get to Charlotte, dinnerish, take a break, and then power through the next 10, 11 hours the next day, I don't know. What am I doing?
Flight Steven, Boston to Fort Lauderdale, 8 p.m. tonight, 2:25. Can you go to Boston?
Nah, I mean, I can't do that. I'd have to, I mean, see, financially and logistically, believe it or not, it would make more fiscal sense for me to just get in the car and just go, as opposed to finding other flights, booking other flights, and whatnot. This obviously is making for terrific content if I do this on the road.
I was about to say, like, just so you know, right now I'm looking at BWI flights. I'm like, BWI is a little bit far from you, but it's not too far. It's like good enough to be able to be like, all right, I can justify going to BWI. Here, let's see here. Friday, September.
What's the Queen City? That's Charlotte? I thought that was Cincinnati.
Man, hold on. All right, hold on.
I don't know.
You know what?
This is very intriguing, by the way. Amtrak, no way.
There's a $300, there's almost a $400 flight out of BWI, the very last flight tonight, and that's about it.
This is making for either the most enjoyable situation ever or quite the opposite. Just put, there's no in between here.
You could take the train.
No.
Come on. A beautiful train ride down the East Coast, Jason.
But it's more money than a flight if you're talking about a comfort level train for the 16, 17 hours.
No. Who said anything about comfort, Jason? You need to be as uncomfortable as possible going down the East Coast tonight. Okay?
I'm usually uncomfortable. Usually in my traveling, I'd like to be quite comfortable.
You need to be uncomfortable as possible. Okay? No comfort for you, sir. Okay? Just letting you know. You are a Dolphins fan. You put yourself in this conundrum, all right? It's your fault that the Hurricanes
it's my
here.
fault. There's only one person to blame. It's completely my fault.
It's all your
It's
fault.
all my fault.
If you don't know this by now, I don't know what to tell you, man. Okay?
I can't blame my
Man.
father for anything with sports. I mean, literally, that is his saving grace in life. I mean, it's all on me. And I've ruined my children. I've ruined my brother. I've ruined everyone who's followed suit from my Dolphinisms.
My dad was here this weekend, and I said, you know, how much do you know, I appreciate you making me a Dolphins fan all those years. After 35 years, it's finally starting to pay off. He's like, it's not my fault you root for the team. I'm like, yes, it is. You were the Dolphins fan, and you passed it on down to me. It's all your, as a matter of fact, it's all your fault, Dad. Every last part of my existence of being a Dolphins fan is all your fault. Let's just cut it out.
This is like a flash forward for me. I feel like in like 5 to 10 years, both of my children are going to be throwing eggs at me.
My
saying,
God.
Why'd you do this to me, Dad?
No, real talk. I have not watched a Dolphins game with my dad in probably a decade. It has to be a decade. So that Sunday night game, we had the TV on the floor in the living room. By the way, broke the next day, and I had to get another TV. But we had the TV on the floor in the living room, and we're sitting in like computer chairs because there's no furniture, and lawn chairs because there's no furniture in the living room, and we're watching the game, and I'm like losing my mind in the fourth quarter, and my dad goes, why are you upset? Why are you yelling? I'm like, Dad, I know you don't watch football like that anymore, but let's not judge, okay? Let's not judge how I choose to watch a football game and how I would like to go crazy. All right? You stop judging me. Stop judging me. Real quick, man, let's talk about that Sunday night game. Was it great? Was it wonderful?
Oh, I mean, honestly, awesome? It was awesome. There were a couple of moments late in the game that there were a little bit of those, oh my God, is this happening again? But the vast majority of the game, remarkably comfortable, just knowing that they were going to get out with a win somehow. Even the last play, I was like, there's no way they're losing this game because they were just really dominating. Raheem Mostert was a revelation. Andrew Van Ginkel, self-explanatory. It was a very enjoyable game to watch. It was a great game to watch.
Dude, Andrew Van Ginkel, I lie to you not. And I know this is an extreme statement, but he had shades of Zach Thomas. I'm just saying he had a Zach Thomas-like game. I'm not saying he's Zach Thomas. I'm not saying he's at that level. I'm saying that game, I remember watching games back in the day with Zach Thomas, and all you heard, Zach Thomas with the tackle, Zach Thomas with the assisted tackle, Zach Thomas with the tackle in the backfield, Zach Thomas with the rush. That's all I heard on that game Sunday night was Andrew Van Ginkel with the tackle, Andrew Van Ginkel with the assisted tackle, Andrew Van Ginkel with the tackle in the backfield. It was the last time I can truly remember that. Like Cameron Wake had some games where you were like, holy cow, he took over the defense. But there's still only so much a defensive end can do. A linebacker can literally be anywhere on the field at any one time. And I felt like Ginkel was all over the field, and it was amazing to watch. You know what else was amazing to watch? Seeing those Patriot fans walk in shame and misery. And you know who was there? The vice president of Southern Dolphins New England himself, my brother, the man, Mr. Eric Carrier. What's up, Eric? How are things going behind enemy lines there, bud?
Morning, boys. It's a beautiful morning here in New England.
I'm sure it is. I'm sure it is. How are people taking their misery and defeat this week?
So not good.
Which is great for us.
It's great.
Us, their fan base is absolutely horrible. Walking out of that stadium. So Dave and I originally had tickets last minute gifted to us in the 300 section, and we weren't too thrilled about that because that's like with your creatures at Yankee Stadium. You never know what you're gonna get. It's the worst of the worst. And then right before the game, somebody gifted us club seats, so we sat in the club seats. So we had a very pleasant experience.
There's a big difference between watching a game in Gillette Stadium in the 300 level and in club level. You're going to get two different experiences.
Absolutely. So we didn't get much banter. Actually, Dave and I looked at each other during the game, and it was one of the first games we never felt any pressure. We never felt like we weren't going to win. We were just sitting there watching the game, and Dave and I almost at the same time looked at each other and said, "This sucks." Like,
what a horrible game.
well, no, but it wasn't the game; it was the experience. Like, normally you go there, you just get bombarded comments and this and that. Your team's awful. This, that. Like, nobody said a word to us, and we were like, we kind of want some kind of banter. Like,
yeah, come on, give us a little bit of back and forth.
And then even when the game ended, the entire section we were in started yelling, "F the Jets!" Like,
they gave up on the Dolphins. They're like, we're just going to go on to the Jets game, and we're going to put this one in the past. We're not going to worry about this. It
was like, "F the Jets," and I was like, "Hey, I can get behind that."
Let me ask you, what was that special teams play like seeing live, that blocked field goal with the gunner running?
I noticed it, and I said to Dave, I'm like, "What is he doing?" And then it happened, and we just looked at each other, and we were like, why hasn't teams figured this out before?
Bill Belichick. That's all I said.
I literally stood up and clapped, and I was like, that may be the best designed play I've ever seen
on special teams in my life.
Like,
in my life.
You couldn't be mad. You just laughed, and it's Jason.
Why has nobody else thought of that?
Yeah, I don't know. It was
so I had a fan in the chat yesterday tell me that Jake Bailey had a tail because Jake Bailey was the punter for them.
There's a video that came out, and the gunner never looked at the ball. He never looked at Sanders. He timed it off of right before Jake Bailey calls for the ball. He takes a deep breath. He goes like this. He goes,
and Belichick knew that.
Did that.
And Belichick knew that.
As soon as he did, well, he played 3 years in New England, so you pick up on things of your own guys. And literally from that video, as soon as he exhales, the guy breaks for the ball because he knew the snap was coming.
Pat McAfee did a breakdown on this, and everyone knows that follows my antics
for the brand
that I love the holding, the punting, the special teams game. Hearing Pat break that down was basically like, if you're a Marvel fan and like when a character gets introduced and you're watching in the theater, the whole place erupts. That was
when a
my
big time character,
pretty much. And like, you're like a loser. I mean,
when Pat McAfee's talking special teams, you listen.
When Pat McAfee broke down that situation, what Eric just described, I was like, this is the greatest thing I've ever seen in my life, because it literally is one of the greatest little tiny nuances.
The kicker for me, Jason, was the week before. Didn't you and I like talk about Belichick in a reporter discussing special teams for 10 minutes in an answer?
Yes, so it was like no shock.
The man had happened. It brought everything together. I'm like, that's why he was able to talk for 10 minutes about special teams, because the man's been looking at special teams videos for the last couple of weeks. I'll
give you a quick example. Like, Bill Belichick is a database. He's a football database. I mean, what he would be able to rattle off. Same thing. If you ever seen Sean McVay, you could literally, there's a video on this. Google it. You could literally go up to Sean McVay, give him the game, the week, and the situation. Week 3 against the Vikings, third quarter, first and second. He'll tell you the exact play, what happened to a T. He remembers every single thing.
I think that was highlighted on Hard Knocks last year.
It was.
Indeed it was. But it's almost like to the point where, all right, great. You got a photographic memory. you're a football genius. But this is other level kind of stuff that both of those gentlemen display as a coach. So,
but the fact that he knew to look for the deep breath, and he trained his player to be like, when he takes that breath, when you see his chest come up like that, you go a second after that.
Do you remember in Any Given Sunday when one of the Any Given Sunday was a fun movie, but it was also like a mess with the way that they cut through this, that. It was so crazy. But a lot of the in between scenes was like Al Pacino as the coach telling his players what to do. When the knuckles go white, that means he's coming. You know what I mean? So
that was Philadelphia Eagles movie with Mark Wahlberg.
Oh, the Mark Wahlberg. Yeah,
I think they did that both.
Invincible.
They did that both.
Invincible.
They definitely did that in Any Given Sunday too. I'm sure they did that too, but I think that they did that in Any Given Sunday. When the knuckles go white, I think you're right. Actually, what did they do it in Any Given Sunday?
I don't think it was Invincible. I
Invincible? Good
Either
movie.
way, it was a good football movie that it happened with.
But that's the correlation. Is coaches could identify those body movements, you know?
Now, one of the things that you brought up, Eric, was you didn't get a lot of crap from Eagles fans, from Patriot fans.
On the way out, it was obnoxious. It was, we lost. I hope Tyreek Hill tears every ACL in his body. Your quarterback's gonna be brain dead anyway by week 5. We still got 6 Super Bowls, and I said, "Wow, with those 6 Super Bowls, you'd be able to figure out how to beat Tua." You know, that was literally my response. They're horrible, and they have great fans. 99% of my wife's family is Patriots fans. It's not everyone, but it's the 99% of that stadium are just horrible things. And then you mix in that we started tailgating at 1:30 for that game. So you mix in 7 hours of drinking before the game, whatever they drank at the game, and we see the unfortunate result that stemmed.
Well, I say that because last night the New York Giants played the San Francisco 49ers, and this broke out, on there, and this is another fight. All 3 of us have gone to games for years, and I wanted to get y'all's perspective on it. Is all of a sudden now, do you think that this is becoming, I don't want to say epidemic or anything, but like, is this a problem in the NFL? Does the NFL have to like figure something out? Because the fighting is like, and now, especially after what happened in New England, every fight's going to be magnified even 10 times more. Now, with that being said, it's not like we haven't seen fights in the stands for years. It's not like this is not, unfortunately, okay, and this is not the first person to pass away as a result of a fight. Now, obviously, there's mixed there's mixed sides saying 2 different things on what actually happened to this person. But my question to you, I'll start with Eric, because you've been in Boston area for a long time and you've seen a lot of fights. Is there something that needs to be done? Is there something that the NFL is going to address? What's going to
It's so tough because what is the alternative? How do you stop it? Do you not serve alcohol at a sporting event? They already don't sell it in the 4th quarter? Do they knock it down to stop selling alcohol at halftime? It's an unfortunate part of sports that has just gotten worse, with people being hot-headed, short-tempered. One team sucks, the other team doesn't. There's definitely been times where I wanted to fight somebody because, look, I'm sitting in the stands at Gillette. Dude, you're beating us 35-0. You're in my face screaming. Like, what do you want me to say? Like, yeah, congratulations, your team's winning. But you get so obnoxious that they borderline black out and they don't know what they're doing. And then it gets to the point where people just get tired of it. And I don't know the alternative to stop it. I don't.
Jason, you know, you've covered sports for a long time, and you're a fan. You've also been in the press box. You're from the PA area. You've been to Philly games. What is your thoughts on this whole thing with, you know, brawls in the stands and fights between fans? And there are, you know, in the San Francisco case, it was a 49ers fan versus a 49ers fan. You know, you know, what are your thoughts about everything?
I hate it. I think it is the most disgusting form of human dysfunction to argue about a game on a sport. And I think that you could say eliminate alcohol, but let's face it, 9 times out of 10, I believe that if
there's way too much money to be made, that'll never happen.
My point is with the alcohol, you don't need 12 beers to do what some of these people would do without the 12 beers. If you're going to do that drunk, you're probably going to do that sober. I mean, I believe that. Now, the alcohol might get to the point where you get there quicker. But, I mean, look, I've been in a moment or two in my life where I've probably gone a little bit above the allotment of certain things, but I'm never going to throw a punch. Ever. Yeah. I'm not that kind of human.
Well, I am the type that when I have gotten over that line, I get more friendly and lovable, and
I talk a little too much. Believe that. You're an affectionate guy.
You're my best friend.
Get a little, exactly. You're a hugger.
I'm a hugger. I'm not a fighter. What did you say, Eric?
Whatever you tell yourself.
But point is, I think it's disgusting, and there's only one thing worse than the people who actually do the fighting. I truly believe this, are the people who break out the phones and video it. Use your phone to call someone for help. Don't just video it for content to throw it up on Twitter so you're the first one out there. Stop with the phones. If you see something going down, stop with the phone.
If you see something, say
other
something.
People's problems. Seriously, I mean, if you're 5 seconds away, 5 feet away, instead of breaking out your phone and video someone getting hammered, why don't you go call up something? Call 911. Go run and go grab security. Go help someone.
This is my thought on the whole thing. So let's put all the cards out on the table. Number one, NFL or any professional sporting is never going to get rid of alcohol. That's never going to happen. Okay. Now, Steven, there's been, there's precedent for it. You go in Europe, there's a few European clubs that do not serve alcohol at all at their games. I think that there's a difference between, and good, bad, or indifferent, a soccer team or a football team who's been around for 100 years, and how crazy there's stands in Europe where you can't even be of the opposite team and sit in the opposing team section. Like they
United.
Say what?
They just come out and say it. Manchester United.
Yeah, exactly. Right. So I just don't see that ever happening here for multiple reasons. Number one, alcohol.
I will be back.
Alcohol marketing has been so prevalent in professional sports that you're never going to see them say, hey, Bud Light, or hey, Budweiser, or hey, Coors Light, we're just going to stop. Like, so that's one. Number two, I have to agree with Jason to a certain extent that if you're going to fight somebody drunk, you're probably willing to fight them sober too. And so like some of the, for lack of a better term, in the swear jar myself, the assholes that are willing to fight, they're obnoxious anyway, even without alcohol. Now, the alcohol, as Jason said, probably makes them go quicker to that level. And as somebody just said in the chat, it gives them fake courage.
Yep.
But, I just don't see a world where alcohol is eliminated, or the NFL or any professional sport league for that matter can do anything to change it. Like, I just don't see it.
No, and it's not like it's the problem is just like you showed that 49ers video. I just sent you 2 videos also from Sunday night. There was fights in the stands.
Where'd you send it?
All 2 girls fighting 1 Patriots fan in her seat. 2 guys, both in Pats jerseys, fighting near the beer stand. It's just It doesn't matter if it's, just our unfortunate circumstance was the guy happened to be in a Tyreek Hill jersey. Is anybody talking about this way? If it was a Pats fan on a Pats fan, I don't know.
Well, that's why there's conflicting reports out there now, right? And I don't want to say who's right and who's wrong. That's not my place to say it. I think it sucks for all parties involved. I feel bad for the person who passed away and his family, and having to leave a family behind. And I even good, bad, or indifferent. Like, I have empathy for the Dolphins fan, to be in that position too, because if it does happen to be that he was defending himself, like what do you do in that situation, right? So, I try to put myself in everybody's shoes in that scenario, and I think that you're going to take an L on either side, and there's no winning in either scenario. So, but I do feel like the more, to Jason's point about people breaking out the cell phones and recording it, the more people that do it, it's crazy. Marino's Goat says, BS, Steven. The LA Raiders stopped serving alcohol in the 90s before they moved back to Oakland. They were tired of the fights and stabbings. Look it up. I'm not saying that there's not precedent for it, but I mean, there's a reason that the Raiders moved out of LA too, right? There's so much money that's made. Think about these contracts and how. And I know this is an unfair way to look at it when you're talking about people's lives and people's health. I get that. I understand it. But let's be honest. Like, it all comes down to the dollar, and there's way too much money to be made. It's crazy. Alcohol in UK football games isn't served during the game and can't be taken into the stands. There's certain stadiums that do have that policy. I just can't see it ever being adopted over here in the U.S. on a consistent basis and on a large scale basis. I just don't ever see it. In this situation, jersey colors don't matter. Everyone's there to enjoy the game. People around need to learn to help diffuse these situations.
Exactly. More self-accountability.
What are you supposed to do if you're sitting there? Hey, guys, chill the fuck out. Excuse the language. Swear jar on me.
But, I'm trying to watch a football game. You guys want to go hammer each other? Go somewhere else, Or both of you sound stupid. Sit down, shut up. Both your teams suck.
Oh, my goodness. I think it's an unfortunate situation all the way around. And, it'll be something that'll be interesting to see how they move forward, not just necessarily in New England, but just in sports in general. And I think the more fights that come out, the more brawls that you see on video and that go viral, the more conversation that's going to be had, not only on a level like us, but on a national perspective, and obviously in the front office of the professional teams and the professional organizations and the leagues. Yeah. And I think that they're going to have to do something. I just don't know what that is. But I personally do not think, I'm not saying I'm right or wrong, I just personally don't think you'll ever see it all the way taken out of the game itself. I just can't see it.
Transferring the nonsense. Are you going to the game this weekend?
I am not going to the game this weekend. I just moved to Mississippi. I don't know if you know that.
You go to Mississippi, but you couldn't come 15 minutes down the road to see me last week.
I called you. And I said, hey, man. And you're like, hey, I will call you when I got some free time, when we're free.
An hour and a half window. Hey, I'm free from 5:45 to 6:15.
I was free all that Saturday afternoon.
Well, you could have came. Brad came from Virginia to watch Jackson play.
I asked, when can we sit and go somewhere? And you said, breakfast. I will let you know. And I was waiting for your call.
Good thing receipts don't lie.
What does the receipt say, sir?
Right here. Hold on. Steven. Did you text me or Facebook message me? Facebook.
Yeah, let's look at the last thing. It says
I'm available from 1 p.m. to 7 on Saturday. That was it. And my son played 2 games on Saturday.
He goes,
At a meeting, I'll hit you up in an hour after I talk with my wife. So pumped you're here. Then I didn't hear from you until 5:30 Friday night, saying you were available.
Yeah, I said I'm available from 1 p.m. to 7 p.m. And you said, I'll let you know.
Yep.
And I never heard from you, Eric.
Yep.
So who's right and wrong in this situation?
Both of us.
I was legit waiting on you, but I didn't want to bother you because I knew that like you were with Jackson, and I didn't want to bother you.
What game are you going to? What's your first one? What are you going down for?
I'm looking at maybe the Giants game, but I definitely I don't think I'm going to because the following 2 weeks are going to be crazy, and that's fan club weekend, the Panthers, and then the Philly game that I'm putting on.
Yeah. So I'm going to the Giants game as of now. My wife and son are going to sit in my seats, and then I'm looking for a single ticket for myself for that game. Somewhere close to section 150 if any of your listeners have a extra ticket.
150, section 150. Why 150? Who's there?
That's where my seats are.
Oh, okay.
So they've never been to a game in Miami. Jackson's never been.
Oh, my God. He's never been to a game down there?
He's never been to any game. This is his first NFL game. My wife's been to a couple Pats Dolphins games. The last one we won a couple years ago. So
is Jackson stoked?
He doesn't know he's going. He's just going to think he's going, tell him we're going to go somewhere, and then pull up to the airport.
You're going to surprise him? You got to record that and then send it to me so I can post it because on the channel, because that is awesome.
So I'm doing that, and then Dave and I are coming down for the Monday night game.
The Monday night game, the Tennessee Titans game.
Yes.
Yeah. So are you coming to any of my tailgates? Philly, Baltimore, or DC?
No.
You don't love me at all.
I have no desire to ever step foot in Philly.
Dude, it's going to be good times. It's going to be good times, bro.
No desire to step foot in Maryland again. Been there, done that, check the box off, good to go.
Did you have crab cakes while you were here or there?
I didn't. Where did we eat? Our first night.
How do you not come to Maryland, go to Maryland and not have crab cakes?
Because I didn't have a car. We Ubered everywhere.
You know, if somebody said, I'll let you know how to return to text, I would have taken you to Jimmy's Famous Seafood to get crab cakes.
On Friday, what day did we get there?
I don't know.
Thursday? Thursday night. We got that Thursday night. We went to the field, left. Then we went
Giovanni, I moved to Mississippi. I'm in Mississippi now.
We went to the Olive Tree.
That's pretty good.
Was right near our hotel. Then Friday night, Jackson was so tired from they had practice and
for those of you who don't know, Jackson is Eric's son, and he plays. He's a really, really good baseball player, and he got to play in the equivalent to the Little League World Series, but for Cal Ripken League.
No.
That's how I look at it.
He was invited to play in an all-star tournament, so they invited the best four. So there was 4 divisions. They invited the best 400 players in the country to come play in this tournament.
What did I say that was different than what I just said?
It's the Little League World Series. It has nothing to do with the World Series. It has nothing to do with Cal Ripken.
All right. So the All-Stars, the best 400 Little Leaguers, and that we don't call them Little Leaguers, we call Ripken, is part of the Ripken League. And Aberdeen, which is like 15 minutes from where I used to live, has a stadium that's very similar to designed to Camden Yards. So the kids get to play in a stadium that looks like Camden Yards, which is pretty dope. And Jackson did pretty good, I heard.
Yeah, he had a walk-off, and he's only 9. So he had a walk-off double, 2-run double in game 3. Game 3? Yeah. Then had 3 or 4 RBIs in game 4. Hit well. Struggled in game 1 a little bit. But game two,
nervousness, hey, butterflies,
Yep.
playing in a great space. But
Yep.
once he got settled, boy was ready to go. He was on. All right, Jason, what's the move? What are you doing?
Walking.
Are you walking?
Roanoke.
You're going to Roanoke.
Now, if I go west,
A boat or Roanoke?
and I
going to
go
Roanoke,
down,
Virginia. First of all, I know Roanoke.
I'm 6
very well.
hours
Why are you
away
going to
from
Roanoke?
Roanoke. Now, if I get to Roanoke in 6 hours, let's say I leave at 12, get there around like dinner time, have a break. I'm out of the weather zone. So I can take my break without driving down coastal. I can go a little bit towards western PA, hit Harrisburg, go down 81. I've studied this. Get to Roanoke, take a break. Then head down to Savannah. Just power through with knowing that Charlotte could be my in-between if I need it. And then whatever I need to do, whether it's Charlotte, 3 hours away from Savannah, that way I could wake up early in the morning and I'm looking at 9 to 11 hours. Get
Jason,
Saturday.
I
down where I need
expect
to
you
be.
on your way back, or you're driving back to come to Mississippi now. You have to come to Mississippi now. You have to take a detour on your way from coming back.
It's going west.
It's only like 10 hours out of your way. Only 10. Only 10. Shout out to Bearded Fanatic with the $5 donation. Was looking forward to seeing you this Sunday. Next time, fins up, my brother. Keep spread kindness, positivity, and love. Thank you, Bearded Fanatic. You'll see me. I'll be around. Fan Club Weekend. Everybody will be able to see me for Fan Club Weekend. Miami J Kid said it will be my first time at East 32 for the Giants game. Can anyone in the chat fill me in on what to expect? The greatest time of your life. No lies. Okay? Amazing food, amazing people, amazing music, amazing people. Did I mention amazing people? Yes. Greatest time of your life, Miami Kid J. The tailgate at times in the past years, not this year, because this year the team is better, has been better than the product on the field in the stadium. I'm just letting you know. But not this year. This year, the product on the field is 10 times better. But yeah. All right. Let's move on, shall we? Let's talk about some Denver Broncos. Dolphins starting the season 2-0. Denver Broncos starting the season 0-2. Hey, guys. Dolphins home opener. We'll start with you, Eric. What do you expect this Sunday from the Dolphins at the Broncos at the Dolphins?
I expect to see more of the run game showcased. I think Pat Surtain is a very good back who's going to shadow Tyreek all along the field with Waddle status uncertain. Mm-hmm. I think we focus, they feature more of that run game that really took off last week.
One of the things I'm excited about is to just see, how they kind of incorporate what we've done the first 2 weeks and see a good mixture of both. I'd love to see another 100-yard game from Raheem Mostert, but I'd also like to see Tua throw for 300. I fully expect the Dolphins to absolutely demolish the Denver Broncos. And everybody's like, oh, you're jinxing it, or, what happens when you think like that. Here's what I want to feel as a Dolphins fan. Jason, I'll let you go after me. I want to feel like we own a team, that we're going to kill them, and then they go out and do what we expect them to do. There's not a time in the last 10 or 15 years where I have truly and confidently felt, hey, look, the Dolphins are absolutely going to kill this team. No ands, ifs, or buts about it. I have felt like that. But I don't remember where the team actually went out and did that afterwards. So I want that to happen here. I want that the Dolphins go out and absolutely demolish Denver. Now, to be fair, Denver lost by 1 point in week 1 to the Raiders, and they lost by 2 points last week to the Commanders, if I'm correct. So, they've lost by a total of 3 points in the first 2 weeks. Russell Wilson hasn't played great, but he hasn't played horrible either. He hasn't played great at all, though. But I think that our team is far and above better than Denver is, even at Denver's best. Even at our worst and Denver's best, Miami's the better team. Jason, What do you think about that? Like we should expect them to absolutely demolish them. How do they go out and execute that so that it actually happens for like the first time ever?
I really do. As I said earlier, expect them to dominate. This would be a great game to come in with a 2-0 record at home with momentum to get to 3-0 within the AFC conference. Look, this is a Vic Fangio defense that is going up against his former team. So there's a factor. He was fired. Bradley Chubb was traded from them. Offensive line coach from Miami used to be in Denver. Butch Barry. There's incentive. There's a lot of incentives to go out and kick a team in the mouth. And I really would love to continue utilizing Raheem Mostert. We spoke about this going into week 1. Raheem Mostert, the first 4 weeks of the season, run him, put him to work up till around 19, 20 carries, because that's his cap, is 19. He's never gone over 19, and I believe he'll be on that pitch count, but he should get to that high teens. If he does, look what he is capable of doing, and he has a career 5.39 yard per carry average, which is one of the greatest of all time in the Super Bowl era. So with Tua also dealing the way he is, I know that Pat Surtain is an extremely good cover corner, obviously, the second, and hopefully Tyreek can have a better Tyreek game like week 1 as opposed to week 2, but that was still fine. He still scored a touchdown, had 50 yards, and the Dolphins won, so I don't care about those kind of statistics. What I really would love to see is Braxton Berrios, River Craycraft, Durham Smythe be guys to continually step up here because they have been when their numbers are called. So I think Tua is going to spread the ball around. I hope that the defense is continuing the momentum from week 2. And I do, if I have to stay a call, I'll say 31. I'll say 31-13. That's what I'm expecting.
What you kind of broke down what you expect them to do. Why has in years past compared to this year, why do you expect them to execute upon that compared to in years past when we're like they should beat this team and then they struggle against them? They play to the level of their opponents, which is how I always put the Dolphins for years. Why are the Dolphins going to do the opposite? What makes you think that the Dolphins are going to do the opposite of that this Sunday?
I mean, look, when we compare Dolphin teams from 2 years ago, 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 20 years ago, completely different apples, oranges, plums, bananas, avocados. You can't compare. So when I'm looking at the eye test of the talent, most talent they've had in decades, that's first and foremost. Now you're looking at the coaching. Do I have more faith in this coach and his staff? Absolutely. Is there more continuity in the last 2 years than there have been in a 2-year period in the last 2 decades? Not really, when you think about all the continuity that you need, especially when Tua is going into his first consecutive similarity since high school. So there's, all right, great. Look at the offense. Look at the way Tua is moving. Look at the way the plays are being called. Look at the timing that he's getting the ball out. These are all tells that something's working, as opposed to, oh, man, here we go again. Because we almost had 2. Here we go again. Missed extra point week 1, blocked kick week 2, almost got a lateral first down to a freaking lineman. These are very, oh my God, this is happening again to us Dolphins. But we're 2-0 with 2. Oh my God, this is going to happen again. But it didn't. It feels different this year. Feels different.
Eric, you want to elaborate on that a little bit more?
I just think the preparation, the willingness to play for each other as years passed. I feel like we had a lot of individuals. You didn't really see the continuity between the guys back in years past that you see now. The bantering. You just look at Twitter. One guy posts on Twitter, the entire team is either there razzing him or giving him props or, picking him up. I just think the preparation, being more of a team-driven franchise now as opposed to a bunch of individuals just worrying about themselves trying to get paid.
Eric, we, for the last, ever since 1999, have been in a carousel of quarterbacks.
Correct.
We have this fella, Uno, Mr. Tua Tagovailoa, Timothy Tagovailoa, Timothy. Why is Tua playing at this level? And is he the best quarterback to play since Dan Marino for the Dolphins?
I would say yes to the answer of our best since Marino. Just strictly due to the fact of the talent around him, never mind his own personal talent.
Yes.
We've never had a wide receiver core like we have now.
Since the Dupers, since the Marx brothers.
Exactly. We have had maybe, without discrediting the running back room, we have had some good backs. But
Ricky and Ronnie.
A good quarterback to go with those backs. Or we had the backs, we didn't have a wide receiver. If Marino was a running back away from going to a Super Bowl, as far as the difference now is the confidence. Everybody is believing in him, from the guy trying to snap him the ball. We're still working on that part, right? Guy wants to be paid like a center, but can't be a center. To the fan base, everybody believes in him right now. And anything you do in this world, if people have confidence that you can do what you're doing or achieve, goals, it matters. If I told Jackson every day, bro, you had the first 2 games, you're struggling. What are you doing out there? You're playing horrible. He's not going to have the confidence to step into a spot and hit a walk off. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Confidence matters. And he has been built up for these moments since he was a kid. Everything he talks about,
his dad
prepped him for, is all coming to fulfillment. And what was it that he had a vision, or his grandfather before he died said, Tua, there'll be a time where everybody knows your name. You will, and it's happening, because right now you can't turn on a sports show without, maybe Skip Bayless. But everybody right now has him as, the MVP, and confidence matters. And I think getting to this game, the comments that Sean Payton made last year is going to sit at the front to his mind, and he's going to come out and shit on this team.
I have never agreed with you more. I think that I think that the Dolphins, to be fair, when our prior head coach was let go, I said, when Flores was let go, I said, man, here's what I want. I want a head coach who's been a head coach before somewhere and has failed, because he knows why he failed and how he can move forward. Because at the time, I think we were on our 6th or 7th first-time head coach in a row. And I'm like, look, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing, expecting different results. And obviously, Dolphins have been doing that for the last several coaches. We need to try something new. I am so glad that because I would have never hired McDaniel based on that fact alone. Nothing against McDaniel. I would have done everything in my power to go get Doug Peterson. Doug Peterson was the guy that I thought would be able to take the Dolphins to the next level, or somebody like that, right? Like, I was a big component of Leslie Frazier. I loved him. I know Pep Hamilton hasn't necessarily been a tenured head coach, but he's been a longtime coordinator in a lot of leagues, and I was a big proponent of Pep Hamilton too. So there was a lot of people that I was like, hey, look, I need somebody who's been around, who knows, who can put a great coaching staff together. And a first-time and seeing what I've seen out of the last 6 or 7 first-time head coaches, they struggle to put decent coaching staffs together, right? Yeah. All of them inherited Darren Rizzi, because Darren Rizzi was great. But aside from that, there wasn't too much success in most of or any of those teams, to be fair, right? So Adam Gase had the 1 year. We went to the playoffs and didn't do anything after that, right? And same thing for Flores. We went to the playoffs, I believe, with Flores, and there was nothing after that. So did we go to the playoffs with Flores? Now that I think about it, I don't think we did.
No, we choked at the end.
We choked at the end. You're right. All right. So I stand corrected. So
backup quarterback at Buffalo was playing.
That's right. That's right. So I say all that, though, to say this. If it hadn't been for Mike McDaniel, we would not be in this position today.
Correct.
And I truly believe that Mike McDaniel's the only person that could have given Tua the confidence he needed to become the quarterback that he is becoming right now in front of our very eyes. He saw the strength that Tua had and said, I can do something with this. I can sit here and work with this and make this guy one of the best in the league because he has the intangibles to be an MVP of this league. I need to help him bring that out. Dan Marino wasn't the greatest because of purely based on his talent. Dan Marino had Don Shula, and Shula was a big proponent of why Marino was great for as long as he was, right? And that's the thing. You know, we talk about Tom Brady. I can't stand the man. But without Bill Belichick, we probably never would have heard of Tom Brady. Let's be honest. He was a six round pick.
I don't know. It's starting to look the other way around that we know about Belichick because of Tom Brady.
I'll give Belichick his props. He's a cheater, but I'll give him his props.
Does something without Brady, I won't.
I'll say this. Tua, as long as he stays healthy, and I have no problem putting that caveat on this statement, and I understand why we have to put that caveat on based on his history. But as long as he stays healthy, minus Patrick Mahomes, he's probably the second best quarterback. He has the potential to be the second best quarterback in the NFL. And right now he's playing like the best. I don't think he'll ever be better than Patty Mahomes, but he's got the potential to be one of the best in the league for a long time to come. And that's exciting as all hell for me as a Dolphins fan, because I never thought I'd see the day where we would have a quarterback who could carry this team on his back, where the team believed in him, where the players around him thought that, you know, he was great, and the great players around him wanted him throwing them the ball. Tyreek Hill, for all intents and purposes, is probably the top 5 best wide receiver of all time already, let alone he's already breaking records that some of the GOATs have put up.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he's like, dude, he said it in year 1, and people thought, oh, he's just saying this to build up his confidence. Good, bad, or indifferent, it's coming to fruition.
Somebody said that yesterday. Here we were thinking he was just being a good teammate. No, he was spitting the truth.
He was spitting the truth. He's like, I would rather have Tua throwing me the ball, because Tua has that accuracy, has that touch. He's got something there, that timing, and Tyreek likes that. And that's why he was close to 2,000 yards last year. That's why he thinks he can get to 2,000 yards this year. And, man, it's exciting as all hell to watch. And I promise y'all one thing. If it does come to fruition this Sunday that the Dolphins are able to dominate the Denver Broncos, which I fully think that we will, I mean, you have to say they're the best team in football. If they barely beat them, yes, we'll be a top team in football. But if they dominate them, I don't want to just win. I want to dominate. I don't want the game to be close. I want it to be a blowout.
I want, like, what was that? Tannehill, Landry, Texans game.
Oh, my God. Yes. At halftime. I was at that game in Miami, and it was – I was at that game in Miami. I was 3 or 4 rows up in the end zone, and the game was over at halftime, cuz.
I was at work, and every 3 minutes it was like Dolphins score, and I was like,
Dolphins score.
What is happening?
Dolphins score. You know, it's really good. Now everybody says even if we dominate them, the 49ers look really good right now. They have all been doing is dominating, but fins up. Colin LaRoche says, yes, look, I mean, to be fair, Brock Purdy's good. Here's how I look at it. I think the Chiefs are probably number 1, even though they lost to Detroit that game 1. I think the 49ers are number 2, Dallas Cowboys.
Oh, we'll see how that goes now with losing their best secondary.
I know. Dallas Cowboys are probably number 3 and we're number 4. Now, we can easily say that Kansas City shouldn't be in the top 3 at the moment, and that's fair. But I don't care if the Kansas City Chiefs started out 0-2. They still have Patrick Mahomes, and they still have Andy Reid as their coach, and they still have some injuries. And let that team come together and get healthy. They're gonna be there at the end. Let's just be honest with ourselves. So even when they're bad, they're still a good team at the moment. So, I have a difficult time saying they're not a top 3 team, although the record or numbers show that they're probably 4 or 5 right now, and the Dolphins are probably number 3 with Dallas and San Francisco in front of them. But man, if the Dolphins dominate Denver on Sunday, it's gonna be awesome. It's gonna be amazing to see what everything kind of comes together and comes to fruition and how things look and how that works out. Let me ask you, if Jalen Waddle ends up sitting out on Sunday, who becomes the number 2 wide receiver? Who's gonna step up on Sunday?
River
Craycraft, my boy, River Craycraft. McDaniel's boy, to be exact.
I tell you who's also been surprisingly on a positive note is how shifty Eazy-E is. Because he broke some tackles last week, man. And I was like, oh, that's so positive. And I was like, oh, wait a second.
Eric Ezukama showed us last year that he had the intangibles and the raw talent to be a really good wide receiver, but couldn't grasp the playbook. Yeah. Now, after a year under his belt, he sat here and he gets the playbook, and we saw the same things out of him in the preseason. And we're like, hey, look, he looks good now. And, he's taking him by surprise a little bit.
Transition from the offense. Are you working Cam Smith in and
you have to
take?
You have to give him more reps. You have to give him more reps for no other reason that if another injury goes down, he needs to be prepared to play. And so he has to get more reps.
Apple looked horrible versus the Pats.
Eli Apple is my new Noah Igbenogany. Yes, I said it. I have no problem saying it.
I'll make a prediction.
Touchdown week 1 for the Cowboys.
I'll make a prediction. We won't see Eli Apple at the end of the year. By the end of the year, we won't see him on the final.
Eli Apple will be lucky to make it till the trade deadline. I really believe that.
But I do have some good news, Steve.
You just saved a bunch of money on your car insurance by switching to Geico.
It's not the right time for a car pun. Not the right time for a car pun.
That was good.
You really just did that to me. I'm about to tell you, I have a partner coming off the coast.
Didn't even realize it. I just that's my when somebody says they have good news, I always come back with that's my comeback with it.
Jason, drive up here. I'll jump in the car with you. We'll drive down together.
You sound
so just swing up through swing up to Boston.
Up to Boston real
just
quick.
Deal with the northeast traffic. Swing back down to Gloucester. Yeah, wait for me, Eric. I'll be right there.
So Worcester.
Worcester. Backing out. You know what
what's your good news, Jason?
The good news is that I have my brother-in-law is going to drive up with me after on the way back up. He lives down in Florida. He's who I hang out with and stay with. So I hopefully could now have some company on the 16-hour drive after a W. So I'm going to say
no, it's not 16. You are coming to Mississippi. You are going to take a detour to Mississippi.
Not if he doesn't take one to Boston.
We'll see. But I do have to. I gotta run. I gotta get ready to roll.
You gotta go.
But I'm gonna jump in a car within the hour, and I'm gonna get going to Roanoke as stop 1. Believe this or not.
Driving through Virginia is so long. Oh, God bless you, buddy.
You guys are really not making this fun, But I think we've got some good content coming here, man.
You get to drive for the next 20 hours.
Can you vlog?
So, by the way, at Jason_Sarney, we need you to document your drive.
I was just gonna say vlog. You should be vlogging.
You should be vlogging this whole thing.
Could I get a sponsor? Could we work on getting like a sponsor, like some sort of road sponsor? I mean,
yes, you'll be sponsored by Miami Sports Music.
I was just gonna say Miami Sports Music, host of the CLOCKBLOCKERS, got you.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Maybe Dolphins Weekly could help sponsor. There's 2 right there.
Well, that's a house ad.
So,
That's a
that's
house.
self.
There's no
that's
revenue on
company
that.
credit card. Then this is content.
Look, this is
Put it
this
on a
is
company credit card.
okay. Look, just you got to grind it out. Okay, you got to have these 30-hour drives before you fly first class down to Fort Lauderdale. Jason, what do you think this is? Okay,
I've never
Okay.
flown first class, Steven. I don't know if I could actually.
I lie to you not. Real talk before you go. I just had this conversation the other day with somebody. I said, yeah, I've never flown first class, but I did fly economy plus from BWI to Heathrow when I went to go see the Dolphins play in London against the Saints. And economy plus on what's the airline over there in the UK, the big one, British Airways, is like first class on a domestic flight. You have 2 seats, recline, spacious. They have plug-ins. They give you the food. They give you the hot towels. So I have flown economy plus on an international flight, but I've never flown first class ever in my life. Eric, have you thrown first class?
I'll tell you what's first class.
When I flew from, where did I fly from? Jersey to Germany for the military. I sat in the first row of not first class, and there was a booth seat. And finally, once we took off, I just slid right into the first class seat. And the girl, flight attendant, comes up. She looks at me. She goes, "Are you part of the military group?" And I went, "Yep." She goes, "Then it's all yours." And on the
Well,
way
I'll tell
back,
you what first class is. First class is I-95 for me, hopefully tomorrow morning. That's what my first class is.
Okay,
And,
we expect
with that said, I'm gonna go back.
why aren't you?
What is it? What'd you say, Eric?
Weather is crazy. I'm flying out of Philly. It looks like weather's going to be bad on the way back. I'm flying tomorrow morning when the weather's coming in. So I'm not risking this. If this was just,
he
week
wants to be at the
7, I need to be at this game.
I just looked up the weather. It was like 22-mile-an-hour wind and raining.
That's not good for a plane.
The Dolphins.
Jason has seen airplane. Okay, it's
last Saturday in a current hurricane wind here. I talked to Devin Mostert, Raheem's wife. I said, "How was the landing?" It was a little bumpy coming in, but it was good. I talked to.
I don't like bumpy.
Huh?
He doesn't like turbulence.
I don't like turbulence on the ground, on podcasts, or in the air. I hate turbulence. Okay. I'd rather bumper-to-bumper traffic on the ground than 3 minutes of turbulence.
That's
in the
amazing to me because bumper-to-bumper traffic, nothing pisses me off more than bumper-to-bumper traffic.
Nah.
Having said that, I'm going to prepare for some traffic.
Ladies and gentlemen,
bring more traffic to your channel, and maybe I'll do some blogging once I hit Roanoke.
Roanoke, Virginia.
I don't know.
I love Roanoke very well.
This is going to be fun. I still got to get approval.
We want you to stay at the worst hotel possible in Roanoke and then vlog it.
Stay at a hostel.
That won't happen. I want to stay at a good.
Yes.
I want to stay at a good 3.4 or a 3.5.
No. We need you to stay at like a La Quinta Inn and Suites that's run down.
About to say La Quinta.
Do they have good breakfast?
So just so you know, last year, not once, but twice, I stayed at the La Quinta Inn and Suites in Tarmac. Let me just tell you, it's not as luxurious as they make it out to be. Okay.
Well, any hotel with the word tarmac in there doesn't sound good.
That's the place.
Right outside Fort Lauderdale. I don't remember which one. The room was so gross that we sat in the chairs in our clothes and then called for our Uber to the cruise ship at 5 a.m. because we couldn't sleep. The room was so disgusting.
Well, I'm feeling good about this journey, guys. I'm feeling good.
Or hey, if you a La Quinta is not available, a Roadway Inn is the next one. You know, we stay at a good Roadway Inn.
For you.
I stayed at the Roadway Inn in Fort Lauderdale. It was horrible. Absolutely horrible.
At Fort Lauderdale.
Keep you posted.
I love you, brother. Be good, Jason.
Fins up, everybody.
Ladies and gentlemen, Jason Sarney. And then there were 2. Jason out here driving because he don't want to fly with no small turbulence. You probably flown in some really bad weather, being in the military.
Not really.
What's your worst flight experience ever? Real quick, go.
Last year, we were coming into Providence, and it was real foggy and raining, and we were just about to land, and all of a sudden, we pointed straight up into the sky like a rocket ship to take off. They couldn't see the runway, and they were almost 3/4 of the way down the runway before they were going to land. So they overshot the runway. So we went.
Oh my God.
We came back around, and then I had a window seat. You could not see the ground at all. We hit the ground. It's like, I think the ground's here somewhere. We so hard that when we got off the plane, when we were walking by the window, the pilot, fire department, and safety crew were looking at the belly and the wings of the plane because we hit the ground so hard they think it hit the ground. And we crash landed without dying. And
you survived a plane crash.
Ever since that moment,
you do realize like you're pretty set for if the odds of it being in one plane crash is like ridiculous.
I know.
The odds of being in two are like impossible. You're good. You're set for life. You could just relax every plane ride now. You're going to be fine. Tell the people to stop calling you.
Hey, it's Spartan Finn. You know Lou Lucky?
Yeah, I know Lou.
Yeah,
I know Lou.
He's got a seat the next section over from my wife. But so anytime I come in for a landing now, my heart starts racing so much that my watch thinks I'm doing a workout. Your heart rate seems elevated. It appears you're.
Do you have PTSD from that flight landing now?
I do. Ask my wife.
So when I was a kid, I guess I was probably 11, maybe 12. My mom, my dad was out to sea. He was Navy, so he was out to sea, and my mom had me and my little brother, and we had to fly from Jacksonville to New York. And I don't know, it was, I guess, I forget why, but I guess we had a layover in Norfolk for some reason. We couldn't get a straight flight from Jacksonville to LaGuardia or wherever we were flying into.
Yeah.
And we had to take this small propeller plane from Norfolk to New York. Like it wasn't like a 737 or a 757 or whatever there are, the buses. It was a small 2-propeller plane that we had to fly in from Norfolk to New York. And it was in the middle of like, I don't want to say it was a blizzard because I don't think we would have flown into that, but I guess blizzard-like conditions to an 11-year-old. And it was the turbulence was so bad that the air mass dropped from above. And at 11 years old, you're freaking out. And to this day, I don't ever want to fly a small plane. Like I am 11 years old, I have PTSD about flying on small planes. Don't ever want to do it again.
I had another one. I was flying from Cuba to Florida from the military, Guantanamo Bay. And we were on a 9-passenger flight. I sat next to the pilot. I literally could have grabbed the wheel and taken control. I fell asleep. I wake up. I look over. The pilot is sleeping next to me. Out cold.
No way.
Plane is on autopilot. The pilot was sleeping next to me. I looked at the Marine kid behind me, and I was like, he is sleeping. And he punched the back of the seat.
That would scare me.
And I had never been scared. Like, I was in a flying out of Iraq, going from one base to another. I was in a helicopter. I was like, hey, this thing's leaking fluid everywhere. We're in the air, flying over Iraq. The kid looks at me, looks at it, and goes, if it stops leaking, then let me know. Like, I was like, oh. Like I would never. I've flown in some of the worst conditions. I've done combat landings into Iraq. I've flown on helicopters. I've never had an issue until last year's flight. Now I either need to like get drunk to the point where I'm like, take it down, I don't care. Or take medicine to knock me out. I don't know.
Real quick side note, totally off topic. You're a baseball fan like me. You know, Miguel Cabrera's last years this year. So everybody's giving him like goodbye presents at places he's going to, right?
I was at his last game in Boston a couple weeks ago.
So they were in Oakland. And this is what the Oakland Athletics gifted him as his present.
Wheelchair.
An $80 bottle of wine.
That's so on par.
That is like, what is Oakland doing?
That sounds
The man is a Hall of Famer. You give him a base off of the field if you're going to, like, come on. An $80 bottle of wine?
that's hilarious.
Come on. Like, that's not even funny, man. Like, Oakland is so, I would hate, if you're a fan of a team that is in the process of, like, leaving that city, like, I couldn't imagine what San Diego fans went through when the Chargers left. I can't imagine what Oakland fans are going. You know, Oakland has literally lost. They've lost the Golden State Warriors, who moved to San Francisco from the Oracle. They've lost the San Francisco 49ers, who are not, they've lost the Oakland Raiders, who moved to Las Vegas. And now they're about to lose their baseball team to Las Vegas.
I did see that Tampa Bay has come to terms for a
new agreement. Yeah.
$1 billion stadium.
Tropicana Field's the worst stadium in the world.
All five.
Even worse than Oakland's Coliseum.
They should have just moved into a minor league park. It would have housed all their fans.
They only get like 8,000 to 10,000 a game, even when they have the best record in baseball. It's so sad.
4,000 to 6,000 more than the Marlins get. I went to the Marlins game one time for $3.
$3?
$3.
Ballin'. You spent more on food there than you did on the tickets.
Actually, I didn't even buy food. I had a bottle of water.
You probably spent more money on the bottle of water there.
Yeah.
All right, man. Anything else before I let you go, buddy?
Nope.
All right, man. I love you, brother. Be good.
Love you too.
Get out of here. We're both right and wrong, so you can't be mad at me, and I can't be mad at you.
Now you're in Mississippi, and I have less than zero reason to come to Mississippi.
So just so you know, I live next to Jackson Airport, which is literally 12 minutes away from my house. And we have a guest bedroom now, which I am in, which is going to be getting done this weekend. One of my listeners, William Perry, the ice tray, is coming to spend the weekend with me to help me fix up this place a little bit more. And
yeah.
Say what?
Did you get a job down there? Are you?
No, I'm still working. I'm doing this, and Tamika's working from home, so
wanted to change the scenery.
It's cheaper, man. It's 10 times like the house. So we got a 4-bedroom house, 2-bath. Never thought I'd live in a house this nice in a neighborhood this really great. If I tried to move somewhere in Maryland in a place like this, I would have spent $500,000 easily. If I tried to move in South Florida to a place like this, it would have been $900,000 to $1 million easy. And down here it was. I mean, I'm spending a little bit more than what I was spending for the 2-bedroom apartment.
Yeah.
Down in Maryland, and the cost of living here is just, you couldn't say no to it.
Awesome.
And the quality of life. So it was a no-brainer. And Tamika's family's from here, so it was good. Kids are good. Like I moved, man, I'm a military brat. I went to 5 different elementary schools when I was a kid.
Yeah.
So it's a little transition for them, but they're like it. They like having their own room. They've been sharing a room for years. So now they can argue and slam the door and say, I'm never talking to you again. So,
all right, buddy.
Love you, man. Be good.
Reach out. I'll talk to you.
Yep. All right, Miami Sports Music's #1 Miami fan morning show, Clock Blockers, right here on the Miami Sports Music Podcast Network. So I'm actually got a lot of stuff to do. So this is an abbreviated Spread Kindness Friday show. If you guys like the show, hit the like button, donate to the channel, help the channel grow. Do whatever you need to do. Just make sure you guys do that. I will be back on Monday. Monday will be a great show. Shout out to William Perry, who's going to come hang out with me this weekend and help me fix up the house and do some stuff. If you guys like today's show, donate to the channel, help the channel grow. You guys can always donate on Cash App or PayPal. You guys can also hit the like button and share the link. It's good stuff. I hope you guys enjoyed the show today. I did. Next week, we'll be back with the full slate of shows Monday through Friday. So enjoy. I will talk to you all on Monday for Victory Monday. We'll see y'all right here on Clock Blockers, the #1 Miami fan morning show. Peace.
I know the whole city riding. A little early, it's a bit surprising.